Welcome to Seasoned. I'm Marisol Castro.
And I'm Chef Plum.
We're live from our studio in Gateway Community College in New Haven talking about our nail polish color.
I just commented on your nail polish. That's so funny.
And you said you're going to get yours done. My son has purple nails right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go get, I like to get a little mani.
I
I'm not
like
much of a
it.
petty, but I'll do a mani.
A mani. I like it.
Yeah, my hands, these are money makers for me. I gotta
This
make
is
sure
what
they
I'm
look
saying.
good.
They have to look good.
Yeah.
Listeners, in case you're wondering, A, Plum and I don't get out enough.
Mm-mm.
And B, we're live in our studio in New Haven, so we are actually face-to-face,
I did
socially
put,
distant.
I did put color in my hair for you.
It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I maintain you have the best hair in the business.
You're so nice to me. You're so nice to me.
We are live with you today because we want to help you plan Thanksgiving dinner.
We do, and we have a very, very special guest because every home cook's favorite holiday is just days away, and we have tons to cover.
Yes, our guest this hour is an icon. Not just in the food world, I would say, in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
She's a pioneer for 40
Legend.
Yeah, for 40 years. Lidia Bastianich has owned restaurants in New York City and elsewhere for the last 23 years. She's been a much beloved PBS chef, teaching millions of people how to cook on her show, Lidia's Kitchen.
My hand is up. I'm one of them.
Hello, preach. She's the author of many cookbooks, more than a dozen now, and a memoir. Her latest book is Lidia's A Pot, a Pan, and a Bowl, Simple Recipes for Perfect Meals. Lidia Bastianich, welcome to Seasoned.
Buongiorno a tutti. Pleasure to be here.
Now, what color are your nails? Are your nails done?
My nails are natural. That's what when I see my kids green, purple, blue, I says, my God, where are we going? Mine are natural.
Well, that's good to know because you like Plum. You use your hands and you like to keep them natural.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Now, Lidia, you're actually at Italy right now, getting prepared to teach a class in a little while. Is that right?
I am. I'm in Italy in the scuola, and I'm going to be teaching a class this evening from this book, an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh.
And I'm delighted to share with your listeners anything you were interested in about cooking Italian for Thanksgiving, or American for that matter.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. There's so much to cover, so much to talk about. If you've got a question for Lidia, or maybe you want to ask about turkey tips or want a recommendation for a one-pot meal, give us a call, 203-776-9677. Maybe you have a Thanksgiving food tip for us. We'd love to talk turkey with you. Give us a call at 203-776-9677.
So, Lidia, I have your book in front of me, and actually, it's true. Your nails are au naturel as you hold this beautiful...
Yeah, I see it.
It looks like a tray of lasagna. Is that what you're holding on the cover of your book?
I think those are baked shells.
Oh.
But yes, I have also, talking about lasagna, and a pan lasagna in a pan. And you know what I did for the first time? The pre-cooked lasagna dough,
Yep.
I never tried it or whatever. And I said, let me test it.
Okay.
Because you have the pre-cooked rice, and that, it only is a little bit of steaming it or whatever, and then you can cook it again. You know that it worked beautifully. So in the book, I have a lasagna with pre-cooked lasagna pasta. You can make at home in 40 minutes in a saute pan.
40 minutes.
40.
Wow.
Holy smokes. I can't get
Yes.
through an episode of my show on Netflix in 40 minutes. That's fantastic.
Wow. I've got to try that because that seems incredible to me. For me, making lasagna, there's a whole process involved in doing this. I'm doing dough, I'm making sauce, so many things.
Well, that's the idea of this book. How can I kind of synthesize what we do as chefs, and there's a lot of complication in all that. Make it simple and make it good. And so you use some ingredients that facilitate that, like here, the cooked pasta. But that's what this book is. And I thought about it and I cooked and I said, my mother and my grandmother, they all cooked with one pot. They didn't have 10 pots around.
And the first line of your book's introduction is sometimes you just want to cook something that doesn't leave you with a pile of dishes.
Oh, preach.
It is so true because I think of myself when I'm cooking every night. I'm looking around saying, I'm also the dishwasher here. So let's make this as easy as possible. And you have figured out a way to do this without sacrificing flavor.
Absolutely. The Italians cook like that all the time, whether they braise it, whether they saute it, in a little pan. Italians can do a whole meal, no problem. But also in roasting, especially now the holidays, the idea is, a nice roasting pan. And what I do, and I'm going to do it for Thanksgiving, I'm going to take some root vegetables, Jerusalem artichokes, turnips, yams, regular potatoes, Brussels sprouts, season them oil, pepper, salt, and on this tray, nice, and roast them in the oven. Put some rosemary in there. And in the book, I have the same thing with putting pork chops. You put pork chops because pork chops depends on the thickness, but take about the same time as these root vegetables to cook. So you put it all on one tray. You season it all, and you put it in the oven. Yes, you turn it now and then and whatever. Splash it with a little bit of wine, give it a little moisture. But, don't preoccupy yourself with, I'm going to make something. Put it in the oven, and you bring the whole tray out, and dinner is ready. But for Thanksgiving, doing this with vegetables, putting it all mixed vegetables on a tray. The one thing with cooking like this is that you have to pay attention to the ingredients and the time that it takes to cook. So if you put on this tray yams and sweet potatoes or squash, they take less time to cook than a regular potato or a turnip. So you cut them a little larger so they don't disintegrate.
Right.
So, a little common sense.
Yeah, there's so much common sense in food. She's preaching to the choir right there. I say the exact same thing. If you're going to roast the vegetables in the oven, try to keep them all roughly the same size, because if you don't, the smaller ones will cook faster. It's not rocket science.
It's very true.
Exactly.
Also from the book's intro, Lidia says that for chefs like myself, creating simple, minimally messy dishes, it's a hard thing to do because, we're chefs. We're going to pull out every pot and pan we can find, and let me get the burr mixer out and the Cuisinart out. It's like composing a symphony, kind of. Can you talk a little bit about that for me?
Well, people go out to restaurants, especially to chefs with acknowledgments and stars. They expect something out of the ordinary. They expect to be treated. They expect flavor. Yeah, they expect harmony of flavors that maybe they wouldn't dare put together. So that's expected. It's like a show, But at home, I cook like this, simple. I'm sure that you do that, chef, too. You guys cook at home as simple as you can.
Absolutely.
And you to get as much flavor as you can. And that is getting the right ingredients.
That makes complete sense. And something you said just really resonated with me because I'm not a trained chef like you and Plum, but I know my way around the kitchen. And you're spot on. When I go out to eat, I look at the menu and I say, roasted chicken, I can make that at home. Pork chop, I can make that at home. But then every once in a while I'll say, but let me see how the professionals do it.
Exactly. I do the same thing.
And then I'm oh, wow. So they nail it every time. Whereas me, I'm like, 50-50, maybe 60-40.
Good record. 50-50, it's okay.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Listen, like you said, I'm going out to dinner. I want to have the foie gras.
Right.
I want to have, something done with beautiful demi-glace or something. I don't want to have a chicken soup.
Right.
I can make that at home.
True.
But if you want to see how good somebody is, that's the stuff you want to taste.
Right. The basic.
But you know what? You can also take it if you're a home cook that wants to advance and you can learn some things by going out and eating. You can get ideas and then take it in your world, in your kitchen. You modify it a little bit, but you get combinations. So it's an experience of going out and also learning something, learning new tastes and new combinations.
Right. Well, Lidia, we have a phone call I want to jump to here. We have Elizabeth from Coscob. Elizabeth, welcome to Season. What you got for the show today?
Hi there. I'm a big fan of Lidia and also of this program. I listen to it every Thursday when I come home from school. So
thank you
very much for your work. I just wanted to share that my 82-year-old cousin in Marseille, France, saved me about a month ago. I had this turkey that had been frozen, and I said, "What do you think I should do with it?" Because they don't really cook turkeys. But she had done some guinea hens, and she said she put pancetta on the outside. I didn't want to do just regular bacon or whatever. And the pancetta, I got to tell you guys, on the skin made this amazing flavor. On the inside, I used apples, celery, onion, and chestnuts. And it was that pancetta made that skin so amazingly delicious.
Oh my God, I can be in Costco in about 25 minutes. Do you have any more?
Yes.
It was amazing.
Wow.
So
Well,
just wanted to share
Elizabeth, that sounds like some good cooking. You enjoy cooking, huh? You're a good cook.
I'm okay, but my cousin is amazing, just amazing.
Huh?
So I just wanted to share that because Lydia, you're Italian, and I love your cooking, and I love this idea of one pot meals because that's my style. So thanks very much for sharing this. And I look forward to seeing it.
Elizabeth, can I share with you something for Thanksgiving and with all the listeners? You know what I'm going to do with my turkey? I'm going to brush it. I always do with balsamic vinegar. So in the last half an hour that it's in the oven that's roasting, you take some balsamic vinegar, and if it's a little reduced, if it's a little syrupy, it will stick better to the turkey. And I go in all the crevices and all of that, the legs and all of that, and it forms a nice mahogany color with a little bit of sweetness and acidity. So you can do your turkey with a Lydia touch this year.
Great.
Wow.
I will.
How about that? And Elizabeth, before we let you go, I want to point out to you, Elizabeth, that Lidia Bastianich just told you were a good cook. I just want to point that out to you.
Yeah, you can die in peace now.
I know.
Life is, you're all set. Nothing else can be better than that. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Right.
That's a great tip. Using balsamic vinegar. Are you kidding me? Brushing that on it. I love that.
I never see. This is what delineates the pros from mere mortals like me. I never in a million years would have thought to do that.
Not going to do it.
No,
Now it's yours to have.
Now I'm definitely going to do it. And when I'm going to impress all 26 people at the Castro family Thanksgiving and say, guys, I came up with this idea all on my own.
You do it. You do it. No problem.
What impresses me, the many things that impress me about what you do and your book is that just because we're using one item, a sheet pan, a pot, a pan, doesn't mean that we need to cut back on flavor. So can you explain how we do that? Because I would think you have to build the flavor in the one vessel. Yes?
Yes, you do. So, it's a crescendo. The one thing is don't overdo with spices. So select your the spices or the herbs that you want to put in there, and don't let them clash, because then one will cancel out the other. Mm-hmm. So certainly salt and pepper is a base. Right. You start with that. What I use a lot with meats and with braising, I use porcini powder, the dry porcini.
Yeah.
I put it in the little machine there, and I make powder, and I use the powder to and sometimes if I grill or roast, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of this porcini powder, and again, I rub the proteins with it. And then I move on to herbs. Now, us Italians, we use a lot of fresh herbs, so rosemary, sage. These are two flavors that go well together. They harmonize. Basil usually likes to be by itself. So if you're going to do something with basil, make it very pronounced, make it basil. Don't, garlic is good with basil, but all the other ones. Oregano. Mm-hmm. Oregano goes good with margarine. If you have margarine and oregano, they're good. Oregano goes good with thyme to some extent. Thyme goes good with lemon. And so there are certain, certain herbs that like to dance together, shall we say. So, don't overdo it. Find what you think your family likes. And it's also I told you some combinations, but also is a trial and error.
Of course.
And then of course you go to the spices. Now the spices, are not indigenous to Italy. The spices I'm talking about, like cinnamon, like cloves, like cardamom, like nutmeg, right. Because spices grow in the tropical belt. So they are sort of an acquired addition to the kitchen through the travels and the spice trades and so on. But then you're entering, the spices usually are dry, so that you're entering to a deeper and more pronounced cloves and rosemary go good together. Nutmeg and cheese, stuffings and all of that, that's very good. So, begin to really taste the individual spices and know what you like and what would you like to add to what, and what combination you like to make. So it's a process. You can't just throw everything in there.
Right.
So, Lydia, before we go to break, I know we've only got a couple of seconds here, Marisol, but I'm just curious of your opinion on this, because I take herbs like basil or some of those fiend herbs like a chervil, a basil, and I don't actually like to cook them. I like to finish with them. And taking the more hardy things like rosemary, lavender, thyme, and things like that, and cooking with that. Am I off base with that at all?
You are. There's actually it works, but because what you do when you cook, certainly rosemary and all of that, you're pulling all the oils out and goes into the sauce. But so does if you cook with basil. But what you do is you put and cook with the herbs that you like. Then when you're finished, when you're serving at the end, you put fresh. Like if you have a grilled steak, and you put some rosemary in there or grilled fish. At the end, when you're serving it and still hot, you put a fresh little branch of rosemary. The heat will release again the oils, and you will get them in your nose, in your face, as you saw, reinforcing the herb or the spice that you put in there, the herbs that you put in there. The same with basil. You put it in the sauce. I put basil in my marinara and tomato to cook a whole branch.
Yeah.
And I take the branch out, and when I serve, the fresh basil comes out. So you have it one way, and then you reinforce it with the fresh.
I love that. And using the stems is a great thing to do for that, too.
A lot of flavor
like
in there, yeah.
Absolutely. Listeners, do you have a cooking question for the First Lady of Italian Cooking? Maybe you're looking for tips to streamline Thanksgiving next week. Give us a call, 203-776-9677, to join the conversation.
Welcome back to Seasoned. I'm Marisol Castro.
And I'm Chef Plum.
We're live this week talking with celebrated chef and cookbook author Lidia Bastianich. Her new book is Lidia's A Pot, a Pan, and a Bowl, Simple Recipes for Perfect Meals.
And we want to talk with you, too. Call us at 203-776-9677. Let us know what challenges you're anticipating with your Thanksgiving cooking, and we'll try to help. It's not quite the Butterball hotline, but close enough, right? I guess. I don't know. And speaking of that, of phone calls, we've got Pat from New Britain giving us a call. Pat, welcome to Seasoned.
Hi, how are you?
We are doing
Great.
fantastic now that you're on the phone.
Thank you. Great. Oh, first of all, I have to say I am so excited. I'm actually shaking. I'm so excited about being on the phone with Lidia. I watch her every week on the weekends. I'm watching NPR, and I watch the cook shows. Oh, hold on a minute.
You're so excited. Pat, make sure you pull over. We don't want you to
We can be careful there. She's so excited. She's
into an accident. You see what you do to Lidia? You are rock star status.
Oh my gosh, Lydia, that was crazy.
I love them out there when they get excited, when they get in the kitchen, when they cook, when they have questions. I just love it.
Pat, are you still with us? Are you okay? Just give her a second. Hopefully, she has to call her insurance company because of that, and that wasn't our fault. Whew, that was a little bit nutty.
But you know what, Lidia? Pat, and hopefully we'll get her back on the line,
Yes,
but she
she's for
mentioned loving you for watching you, she said every Saturday.
Yeah.
And you really have, I have to say, one of the reasons why you have icon status is because you have withstood the test of time, because we've seen so many chefs before the early 2000s, celebrity chef was not in our lexicon. And you were doing all of that before people came up with this terms, quote unquote celebrity chef. And you started it. I don't know why you started it. Why did you decide that you wanted to take the skills that you had inherited from your mom and your grandma and share them with us? And did you ever think that it would result in the success you have now?
I love cooking. I love cooking for the family. And it's a way of me sharing my culture, my story, my life, because I'm an immigrant. I've been here at 12 years old. So I was born in Italy, very Italian, but I'm very American as well. This is the two best cultures that anybody can have in their life. And I want to bring them closer together. So, this is what I did well, and I wanted to share. And what was happening was that the response was great. Even in the restaurants, people wanted my recipes, and I would share it with them. And then my first book, and then I got, and then you continue. I love to teach. My mother is a teacher, and I love to teach and share. I love people to sort of put a little bit of Lydia aroma in their kitchen, in their family.
That's amazing.
And it's my way of entering the American families as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, you've definitely done that over the years, that's for sure. That's what brings up that icon status. I am back live on the scene with Pat. Pat, can you give us a report of what happened there? Are you okay? And is there any damage?
No damage. No damage at all. And I got I'm with my dogs out by the cemetery where we do our prayers because it's the month of November and we dedicate that to our souls. Special time of the year. But what I wanted to say, one of the things that I've learned so much from you, Lydia, is not only your delicious pastas, which now I partake less of because I have sugar issues, but you incorporate so many vegetables when you saute some arugula and spinach or the other Italian vegetables, and add some cannellini beans. And I found that is such a wonderful thing, and how you're so versatile with that way. And of course, with the zucchinis, I look at all those ideas that you use, and I try to incorporate it in my cooking. But I have so much admiration, and then I also admire that relationship that you've had with your mom. May her soul rest in peace, and how the love that you communicated with her and your family. You're such a model.
Thank you, Pat. That's really heartwarming because, when I cook Italian. The Italians cook with a lot of vegetables, a lot of legumes. As a matter of fact, an Italian meal is about 1/3 proteins, and the other 2/3 is about starch, vegetables, and legumes. Whereas I think here in America, the protein is the 2/3. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you appreciate that. I get a lot of emails. And I am conscious, to really incorporate, because I know there's a lot of people out there. And, I don't write special recipe cookbooks, whether it's diabetic or gluten-free. I write traditional Italian recipes. But those recipes are so congenial to these issues that people have. So I continue to do ever more those combinations because I know that people like you out there really appreciate it. I do desserts as well, and I certainly make the pasta and all of that. But the reality of the Italian cuisine is exactly that. A lot of vegetables, a lot of legumes, and some starch and some of the sweets.
I love putting the beans in with the greens, and I mean, that's such a great thing to do. And listen, everybody out there, this is your chance to call in, talk to Lidia Bastianich, the icon. Just do it safely. 203-776-9677. That's 203-776-9677. Now, Lydia, next week, obviously Thanksgiving, massive food holiday for a lot of people, and there is a turkey recipe in your book. Can we talk about the roast turkey breast with the dried fruit and root vegetables? It's great for a really scaled down Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, because it's white meat. People like, I happen to like dark meat.
Me too.
And chicken. Yeah. But people really appreciate it. So, getting a turkey breast, it's best if it's on the bone. At least you have some support and some additional flavor. But you can roast that maybe even more evenly. Takes less kind of skills to roast a breast. You just have to keep the timing right. And then, of course, you make the sauce. And I love fruits with, especially on holidays, with proteins. I love it with the turkey. I love it with chicken, pork, whether it's pears, whether it's dry fruit. It's excellent to make sauces also. You make your sauce, you add in some dried cherries or some dried apricots, and let them sort of really cook down and mash them up in there and then pass them through a sieve. And that will bring a certain sweetness, a certain connection to that sauce. So that recipe for people that, don't feel like handling a whole turkey or don't have that many people, that's a great recipe. Easy and delicious.
I love it. I'm going to cook that on Black Friday because I'm going to my sister's for Thanksgiving, and those animals will leave me with no leftovers. So, Lydia, I'm going to make your roast turkey breast.
That's a great idea. And those fruits add such a depth of flavor.
You have apricots and figs, dried apricots and figs. Yummy. I think we have some callers.
Yeah, we do. We've got Ross calling from my town of Newtown. Ross, welcome to Seasoned.
Thank you. I'm terrified of tarragon.
No.
I love
licorice-y.
the flavor of tarragon, and I mix my basils and my and other things, but I don't know what goes well when you're mixing tarragon. It's so powerful on its own that I was just trying to get some advice. What other herbs could I use with tarragon?
Now, normally I would jump here to answer this, but Lydia Bastianich
I know.
is
I
here,
had an
so
idea too, so
I
I'm
know.
sitting quiet.
I know. I feel like I should raise my hand and just let Lydia call on us. And let her-
You know, tarragon is, and it's not used a lot in the Italian. The French use it more than the Italians, but it's a very pronounced flavor. Being so pronounced, it goes well with light, like fish. It goes good with chicken, with light meat. You know, being so pronounced, one would say, oh, I can use it with braised beef and all that. It doesn't react good in long cooking braising. It wants to be the star of the show, I think. And so using it with fish, I like using a little bit of lemon with that, maybe a little bit of thyme, but not too much. It's an herb that likes to be the center of attention.
It's funny you say that because the idea I was thinking of, Ross is our guy, is our caller.
Yes.
I do a tarragon salad with purple grapes and ricotta salata, and just
great.
olive
Beautiful.
oil, lemon oil, and to your point, Lydia, the tarragon's the star of the show. It's like a good side salad with a roasted chicken.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. You know, I think another great use of this would be to take this tarragon and make almost a gremolata out of it.
Ooh.
Use a little fresh garlic, throw a little thyme in there, some salt, a little bit of lemon zest, mix it all up, and maybe not cook with it, but top a beautiful roasted piece of fish with a little spoonful of that would be delicious.
Yeah. Okay.
We gave you some ideas, mister.
There we go. Ross got a couple ideas there. Let's go to Jason from Granby. Give us a call here. Jason, welcome to Season. How are you today? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well, thank you. It's an honor to speak to you, Lydia. I have a question. I am doing my very first Thanksgiving ever hosting. I'm nervous as heck.
We're doing a novena for you.
I'm getting a fresh turkey that is being slaughtered on Sunday. Brine or no brine, stuffed or not stuffed?
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not a particular stuffer. I don't like the stuffing. I like, my sauce, my vegetables, and my turkey. So the stuffer, if you're going to make stuffing, stuff it lightly. Don't jam it in there. A chestnut and then an apple stuffing, maybe some little sausages in there. That would be great. And then the other question was
To
brine or no brine?
Yeah, brine or not brine.
Oh, to brine or not to brine? A fresh turkey like that, I would brine it. Because the meat needs to relax a little bit, absorb things in. So I would brine it overnight.
I agree with Lydia completely. Imagine that. Definitely brine the turkey for sure. You don't have to do that 16, 18-hour brine. If you can get it in the brine for 8 hours, keep it simple. A little salt, a little sugar. That works out great. I actually use a little black tea in mine as well to add a little tannins. So.
Look at you.
Oh, nice.
Before we take our next caller, you mentioned, Lydia, chestnuts. And every time, and I see them in the market now more. And I look at them, I hold them, and I'm like, I have no idea what to do with them.
Great question.
And this is like the time of year where they're abundant. What does one do with chestnuts?
Chestnuts, are great from dessert to appetizers to stuffings. Certainly, I make a great pasta sauce. Chestnuts and mushrooms, they go so good together. So it really is. And little tomatoes, and it makes a great sauce. So absolutely, chestnuts in the stuffing, that sort of mellows, sweetens a little bit everything. Even if you make your gravy, a cooked chestnut, you kind of throw it in there, let it cook well, and then mash it in there, and it'll give you a little texture, a little velvety, a little sweetness to your gravy.
Oh my gosh!
But that chestnuts, everybody is okay. So the cooking of the chestnuts. Do I boil it? Do I roast it? Do I do?
Yeah.
But there's frozen chestnuts out there which are delicious. Huh. So if you want to get into chestnuts for Thanksgiving, but you don't want to roast them and peel them and all of that, get some whole frozen chestnuts. They're good
and easier.
Wow, what a great tip that is! And also, for our last caller, I forgot he also asked about to put the stuffing in the turkey or outside the turkey.
I think she said out.
Yeah, outside.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your first time cooking a turkey. Do it on the outside.
Do it on the inside, but stuff the cavity with fresh herbs and some lemon rinds and all of that. Stuff the cavity with all of that. I even put a little carrot, a little celery, and do the stuffing on the outside. So you make sure that it's cooked, that it gets a nice crust when you're in a cast iron pan and works well.
Beautiful, beautiful. We've got Cyrus from Guilford calling. Wants to talk about that balsamic glaze, just to give a little rundown on that. Cyrus, welcome to Seasoned.
Uh-oh. We are going to take a quick break, but don't worry. There's more time to chat with us and with Lidia Bastianich. Our number is 203-776-9677. We're talking all things Lidia Bastianich.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Seasoned. I'm Marisol Castro.
And I'm Chef Plum. We got a little technical difficulties with Lidia. We're trying to get her back on the horn, which we'll get her back up here very, very shortly.
But if you're just joining us, we are spending the hour with Lidia Bastianich. We're talking about Thanksgiving, but also her brand new cookbook. It's called Lidia's A Pot, a Pan, and a Bowl. Simple recipes for perfect meals.
There's some great recipes in this book. I'm a big fan of this, and I like how, like the one pot kind of theory.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, it means I don't have to wash as many dishes.
Right.
So that helps me.
Does that happen in your house too? Like, yes. I cook dinner, but I have to wash everything too. No one ever helps me.
I mean, sometimes I get some help.
Do you?
Never from my children.
I wish we could do the one pot Thanksgiving dinner.
Could you imagine?
Everything in one pot. How great would that be?
That would be fantastic, actually.
I know, right? I mean, for me, like when it comes to turkey, usually I fry my turkey.
Do you really?
I do. I do a dry brine. So it's basically I take my sugar and salt and all my things, and I rub the turkey around with it, let it sit in that brine, in the dry brine, and a lot of the moisture comes out, which is fine because I'm going to fry it anyway. And then we deep fry it, which is a great preparation for turkey.
How long? I've never done it. I've been to someone's home when they've done it. How long does it take?
Depends on the size of your turkey. I mean, for me, I get that oil going at about 350-ish or so, and then I hit it with, drop it down. So obviously, you want to measure it out ahead of time. You do a little water displacement to measure it. So when frying a turkey, you want to do it about 350 degrees for about 3 minutes per pound. And that's how you figure out how long it takes to cook it. When you roast a turkey in the oven at 350 degrees, it's going to be about 11, 12, 13 minutes per pound. So the roasting in the oven does take a little longer. But the fryer, man, it comes out so delicious that way. Just remember that. 350, fryer, 3 minutes per pound. Roasting in the oven, 13, 12 minutes per pound.
Do you do it in your kitchen? Do you do it on the deck?
Oh, God, no. Outside.
I was going to say.
No. Outside.
Okay,
outside.
just
to be safe. Yeah.
Well, you're crazy, so I never know.
Just to be safe. But the same theory actually applies if you're cooking turkey inside the house for time-wise. You want to make sure it gets to 165 degrees.
Right.
But the best way for that to happen is let it happen on your countertops. Always let it rest.
Right.
For a long time.
Right.
Definitely a good idea. But 13 minutes per pound, usually 13, 14, 12, somewhere in the neighborhood, per pound of turkey at 350 will get that turkey up there. That's kind of how I measure how long it's going to take.
Right. And are you a fan of the frozen turkey or the fresh turkey?
Fresh turkey, 110%.
Okay.
Big fan of that. So if you're going to do it, get a fresh turkey. Call your local farmer. There's lots of them here in Connecticut. You can get them very, very easily.
I love it. So just for those of you who are joining us, we are live from Gateway Community College. We are speaking to none other than Lidia Bastianich. She's known for many things, among them her brand new cookbook, Lidia's A Pot, a Pan, and a Bowl, Simple Recipes for Perfect Meals. We had some technical difficulties on her end.
Hello.
Hello. There she is.
Oh, my gosh. Dang. We are so sorry for all of it.
We're back.
I was so much into my balsamic glaze when I lost you. Where did I lose you?
Oh, my gosh. Listen, well, why don't we try to start the whole thing over again?
Yeah.
I think I've even got Cyrus back here. Let's see if we can get Cyrus back from Guilford. Cyrus, are you with us now?
I think I'm with you.
All right. There we go.
Hooray.
So, Cyrus, welcome to Seasoned.
So,
We have Lidia Bastianich. Why don't you go ahead and ask her again about that balsamic? She'll be happy to tell you all about it.
So for the last 4 or 5 years, I get 2 turkeys, 13 to 15 pounds, and I cook them in the same oven
for under 2 hours. I can't remember exactly right now what it is, at 500 degrees.
Wow.
And I was wondering about trying your balsamic glaze on one of them, but I wonder if that's too hot.
That is too hot. The balsamic glaze, let me just go a step backwards. You buy regular balsamic, don't buy the traditional. They're not too expensive. Reduce it, put it in a pan, reduce it, put some herbs, rosemary, bay leaves, reduce it to half of the liquid until it looks like molasses. Let it cool room temperature and leave it outside. Don't put it in the refrigerator. When you're roasting your turkey, about half an hour before your turkey is finished, you brush that balsamic glaze all over the turkey and you put it back in. 500 is too high. I would put 375 because you don't want to scorch that because there's sugar, there's that, and that could really caramelize and get burnt. So yes, I would lower the temperature for the last half an hour that you're going to put the balsamic vinegar, the glaze on it, and let it finish with that.
There you go. So start it, make that glaze ahead of time, leave it outside, don't get it cold in the refrigerator, and then use it that way on the turkey. Makes a lot of sense to me, I think.
Makes sense to me, too. I have a question, Lydia.
Yes.
Is Thanksgiving even celebrated in Italy? Were turkeys part of the cuisine growing up there?
No, it's not celebrated. We don't, turkey is not a big, now it's sort of coming, but turkey is not something that Italians
It's not a go-to protein.
No, it's not. But for me, it's one of the best holidays. I love it. I love it because, as I said before, I came as an immigrant and I appreciate so much being in this country. But, I have my Italian culture. So this is a holiday because all the other holidays, I end up with Italian meals, of course. Mm-hmm. But this one, I stick to the American. I put a little Italian, like the balsamic glaze.
Right.
But I love the holiday. And it's a way of the family really celebrating being American because my kids and my grandkids are American. They're born here.
Yeah.
So what does Thanksgiving look like in your home? What will it look like this year?
Oh, one big table and we add another table. We are 16 this year. And, what I'm going to do is usually I do a buffet antipasta. And I got all the orders for my kids what they want. One wants baked clams.
All the orders.
Listen, one wants baked clams. One wants oysters. One wants octopus and potato salad. One wants Swiss chard and potatoes. They love their vegetables and all of that. So all of this, it's going to be out on the spread, plus all the Italian cheeses and prosciutto and so on. And, they're going to sort of mingle around, munch and have a little celebratory drink and all that. And then I usually make soup, but I'm not going to make it this year. I'm going to make loads of vegetables in the tray, in the oven, and just loads of vegetables and the turkey. You know what I added this year?
Please.
I added a ham, a little ham on the bone.
Nice.
One of my granddaughters loves ham. So, you got to please everybody. Grandma pleases everybody.
I love that.
And ham, incredibly underrated when you have a group of people over at your house.
Yes,
it's such 100%. A great thing to use. Lydia,
yes.
Do you ever or have you ever deep fried turkey?
No, I never done.
Never have. I'm a big fan of it, and so is Dean from Norwich. Dean, welcome to the season. You got to talk a little turkey with us?
Yeah, sure. Hi, how are you? I just got in my car. I was leaving work, and I turned the radio on, and I just kind of came in halfway through your story, and you were talking about how you love to deep fry, and I hate to step on anybody's toes, and you gave the viewers some advice about getting your oil to like 350 and going 11 to 13 minutes per pound.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going
to kill it.
When you do it in the oven, when you're roasting in the oven at 350, you want to do about 13 minutes. 11, 12, 13 minutes per pound in the oven.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm deep frying. No. That happens so fast. But the big thing when you're deep frying with people, I think they don't do is they don't measure it, do that water displacement method before you put that oil in there. That's what causes all the property damage and crazy stuff out there. But absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Okay, because I've done it about 10 years in a row now, and I just didn't want people to start for their very first time at, okay, good.
Oh, man. And listen, is there another way? Once you do it once, it's hard to go back, isn't it?
Well, it's fantastic. Not only does it come out, juicy and you get that crispy skin that everybody fights over, but you free up the oven. And if you have a big family and one oven, you free up the oven, which is huge.
Right.
And Lydia, when you hear Dean talk like that, he cooks a lot of food at his house too, knowing the oven space is important.
Listen. I might be tempted next year to try it. I have never tried a turkey.
It's so delicious. It changes the game for me because I don't like turkey. Turkey is dry and not very delicious.
It's not my favorite either.
But when you fry it, it is amazing. And you guys, you have a chance to call in and talk to Lidia Bastianich with us as well at 203-776-9677. That's 203-776-9677. Lidia, what are some of those side dishes that you might like to have during Thanksgiving? You talked about what everybody ordered from you. What do you order from everybody else?
Well, no, I love what's on. I love my turkey. Thanksgiving, I love my turkey. I take the wing. How do you like that? The wing. I love cranberry. My daughter-in-law is going to make the cranberry sauce. She makes a cranberry sauce with oranges and mandarins, and it's delicious. My daughter is in charge of the stuffing. I don't particularly like stuffing. She loves the stuffing. And so those two things are out of my control, but I love my turkey and I love the cranberry sauce.
Yeah, cranberry sauce is delicious.
And that is for you. I love it too. Yeah, I don't love cranberry sauce, but I'm trying to turn over a new cranberry sauce leaf.
It's easy. It's delicious. It's a great side dish for sure. I mean, the only thing that's better than cranberry sauce for me, desserts.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I have to have a second helping of desserts and just a smaller dinner, in my opinion, which is kind of fun because, Lydia, desserts can be in one bowl too, right?
Right. Well, us Italians, we do a lot of dessert, dolce cucchiaio, spoon desserts, like tiramisu and all of that. But I was thinking this year of doing cheesecake, ricotta. I'm going to do a ricotta. I'm going to mix a little bit of sour cream in there. And then I'm going to do a semi-freddo with amarene cherries. You know those cherries?
Yes.
That are delicious. Okay, with amarene cherries. And then I have one of my guests that's bringing a pavlova. And he said he's going to do an orange pavlova. And I think that's enough. Then we have, of course, we have our chocolatini, we have our torrone, all the Italian little sort of extras.
Gotta have that pecan pie, though. That's my southern roots coming out. I gotta have that pecan
my granddaughter, she makes a pumpkin pie.
Oh,
and
delicious.
Yeah. That's coming.
So we have a recipe from the book at ctpublic.org/recipes, the apple cranberry crumble. Super simple. Can you talk about that a little bit with us?
Yeah, that's, one of the desserts because a lot of people, making the dinner and all that, and then on top dessert, they go to both desserts. But the crumble is easy. You can do it in a baking pan, you can do it in a pie pan, you can do it in a Pyrex, and it's the apples, cranberries. I put a little jam in there, a little bit of liqueurs, and the crumble is also simple, very simple. It's breadcrumbs flour and butter, and a little bit of sugar, and you mix it just enough to make these crumbles. And you put the fruit in the bottom, the crumble on top, and you bake it. And this is a dessert that you spoon out. Again, spoon dessert. You top it off with a little whipped cream, and it's just delicious. Just delicious. Nice and warm. I would like it warm. You can make it the morning. You put it. You leave it out, and then while everybody's eating, you can reinsert it in the
oven.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Christian calling in from Orange with a great question for Thanksgiving. Christian, welcome to Season. You got a question about vegetarian food?
Yes. Hi. I'm a huge fan of the program, and Lydia, obviously I can't say how influential you have been on myself, just as someone who likes to cook. But my sister has been a vegetarian for years and years and years, and I always struggle to think of a complimentary entree for her for Thanksgiving because, we have all the side dishes that we do try to make sure they're vegetarian friendly for her. But, obviously I can't serve her turkey, so I always struggle with that. I wonder if you have any advice for me.
Great question there.
Right. Is she a vegan or does she eat eggs or cheese or just a complete vegan?
No, she'll eat cheese and dairy, and sometimes she'll eat fish. So I've done salmon in the past a few times.
Okay. You know what? You could. There's so many different things. I don't know what to begin to tell you, but you could a pepper, stuff it with rice, and inside some cheese and rice and roasted pepper, other vegetables in there, and then you cook it in a little tomato sauce, or you can roast these peppers, and then you can serve it with a little polenta or other vegetables around it. But a nice pepper stuffed with rice or with barley if she prefers that, but put some cheese in there, make it tasty, and you can make that ahead of time. Or the vegetables, a whole thing of stuffed vegetables like zucchini. You make a little mixture of breadcrumbs and a little bit of breadcrumbs, cheese, oregano, a little parsley, a little salt and pepper, and a little bit of oil in this stuffing. And then you take your vegetables, could be eggplant, and the smaller one, and you can kind of half them and empty the center out and put this stuffing in there and bake it. You can do zucchini, you can do eggplant, you can do tomatoes, you can do a whole nice arrangement of vegetables in the oven for her. So she will feel very special, they all cook at the same time in the oven.
That's perfect. Christian, there you go. You got her taken care of now. Beautiful. That sounds like a great listen, I'm not even a vegetarian.
And I would make that, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Lydia, sadly, our time is coming to an end, but it has been such a pleasure speaking with you, hearing your words of wisdom, your humor, and everything that you've brought to the culinary world. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Marisol and Chef Plum. It was a pleasure. And you have a great Thanksgiving, and to all of your listeners, all the best.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Lydia. And Lydia will be doing a virtual book signing and talk with R.J. Julia Booksellers on Monday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. Visit rjjulia.com for details. Seasoned is produced by Robyn Doyon-Aitken and Catie Talarski. I'm Chef Plum.
And I'm Marisol Castro. We will be on your radios and in your earbuds next week, Thanksgiving Day. Tune in to Seasoned for Seasoned Sides Giving. Chefs share their go-to sides. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic week.
Bye, everyone.